And here we go again. That's the CQ, 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 the old Morse code which says, hey, we'd like to talk to somebody, anybody. We'd like to start a conversation, maybe even start a friendship. And so usually on every Tuesday, I do the CQ. But today's Wednesday because I didn't CQ or do anything on Tuesday, at least for the radio called Interesting Ideas. I was way busy helping people like you do their radio programs and their videos, and as a result of that, I just was not able to do it for the day on Tuesday. So I'm going to do it a little bit on Wednesday. Here we go. Interesting ideas, perhaps challenging ideas, maybe some funny ideas, and that's a little bit about it today, but it could be deadly serious. And I don't mean that in a deadly serious, but it's something that you need to take seriously if you want to keep being fully alive and making your mark in today's challenging world, which is increasingly that way. When I was walking around today, there was a part of me as I did my morning walk and thoughtfulness that, there's an old line which says, go gently into that dark night. And that comes from a recollection of somebody saying that the times ahead could be dark. And how do we go if we're going to go through some dark times? And I thought more about that because I know some of my very good friends, this week they'll be burying some very important people in their lives. And how do we, when we know we're going to go into dark times, how do we prepare for them? And how do we help those people who we know are going through dark times? Well, that's something I'd like to talk about, but not today. I want to have a little fun with you by just exactly that. And it is part of what we just started today. Hey, if it's a man's job, you may need a woman to do it. And that's what I'm going to try and do. I'm Stan Houston. The program is Interesting Ideas, and you need to keep listening. Let's go. Well, let me tell you a story. And of course, that's the very best way to begin any program or any conversation. Hey, let me tell you a story. We lived 15 years in Arizona as we enjoyed that before making the family necessity move to North Carolina, which we are thoroughly enjoying. It seems that a number of things are coming together in our life. We have been fortunate. We've been more than fortunate. We've been graced by a number of good things happening. But we still have lots of work to do, more work to do. In fact, more work than ever. Who would have thought? I thought I was going to be comfortably retired, and now I'm glad I'm not, I think. But I'm more than ever creating new things with new opportunities and, of course, new dangers. But we have to walk a little bit dangerous in life, and the older you get, what have you got to lose? Just keep doing it. So that's where we're all about. Now, in Arizona, there was a grocery store down the road, and it was a small chain. Now, it wasn't this big grocery store, but it was a chain, but it was only in Arizona. So it was a small chain compared to, of course, the big, huge chains that are all over the United States. But it was working hard to stay competitive and work hard at it. And one of the things, one day when I was there was this very, you might say, really kind of feisty and hardworking and sparky young woman who's going around. And I saw her, and I was kind of impressed by her energy. And she was fixing things. And then I looked at her name tag, and it had her name, and it was Cindy. And then it said, person in charge. Person in charge. And I had never heard that expression before. I guess it's kind of an old-fashioned expression, but it said something powerful. And so I just, because I'm a coach and I'm always curious and I want to find out story, I stopped and asked her. And Cindy quickly said, she said, well, you know, I've caused a lot of trouble in life. I had a lot of trouble, but you know, I got myself straightened out thanks to my good Christian mom and a lot of people who cared for me. And I'm doing extremely well now, and I'm so very, very grateful. And just recently, the people at Bashas' gave me a PIC button. And I say, what does that mean? She says, literally, the manager's not always here, but I'm whatever shift, and obviously we have to have about 3 shifts. I'm the shift person. I'm in charge. In fact, I get to run this business. If something happens while I'm in charge, I get to make decisions. They trust me to do the right thing so I can make decisions on how to handle the things that might come up. But I'm also there to make sure that all of the employees know that if they have a problem, I'm there to try and help them fix it. I said, well, you really are the person in charge. And she said, yes. And I do it well. And I said, you do it well. I've noticed how you've worked. And she said, well, thank you very much. And I said, and I will let the manager and the office corporate in Phoenix know. And she smiled and said, thank you, Stan. That would be nice. Person in charge. Well, recently, I also, in our church that we're starting to go to, there was another younger woman. And of course, they're almost all much younger than me now. And I just asked her, because she was there kind of, doing, right? She's there. She's what I would call the chief hospitality officer. She, people come into the office, boom, boom, boom. She greets them, sends them, gets their help. People call. She's the one who does all that. And I said to her, "You are the woman in charge, aren't you?" And she looked at me and said, "Oh, I like that." And she said, "I might steal that idea. I'm the woman in charge." And I said, "Yeah, take it." And then she had this wonderful line. She said, "Well, my mother used to say, if it's a man's job, you probably need a woman to do it." So let that sit on your head for a while. And of course, I also know that I am married to the kind of woman who could do that. She was an assistant, hardly an assistant, more of an associate, to a very significant person in the life insurance and investment business. One of the top producers. Now, you know what a producer means? That means they sell a lot of stuff to you. That's what they produce. They produce money for the company. And it got to the point where oftentimes the people would say, they'd call up and she would say, I'll put you into Jack. There's the boss. Into Jack. They say, "Karen, I don't want to speak to Jack. I want to talk to you because you know what's going on." She was truly in charge. Well, that's just an idea that I want you to think about. And by the way, learning how to bring up people, not just to carry out their job responsibilities, but helping the select ones know what it's like to be in charge. And that means to be responsible. And that means that they're held accountable. And it also means you raise their pay because they're taking the risk of being in charge. So, person in charge, woman in charge. And I have decided that that's something I need to do with a new project. And so if you'll just let me have a few more minutes, let me describe what has happened to me in my thinking and what we're going to do differently. I'm Stan Houston. The program is interesting, inquisitive, hopefully inspiring ideas. We'll be right back. I've pointed out that one of the things that has attracted me, both as a man of faith and as someone who really enjoys good radio and video and media communication, the top one in that category, in the religious category, or at least what would be the Christian, though it is fascinating how the audience is not just Christian. It is as they intended, gets a large audience of Jewish people in that tradition, even Muslim people in that tradition, and a lot of people who have no tradition. And that's called The Chosen. And it is the story of Jesus, and he's the chosen one of God, and now he's going to go out and choose others to help him build the franchise, to help him build this work, this, new world on planet Earth that he's seeking to create. And they will then be the chosen. And then eventually all of us who are followers will also be in that crowd of the chosen. Okay, that's the deal. And I admire that. But here's what struck me, because I know the story. Of course, most people do. They went around one time and said, well, this is one man on the street. And they asked people, well, what's this Christmas all about? And very few, at least the ones they stopped or thought about it, actually said anything to do with the actual religious meaning behind Christmas, about the birth of Jesus. It was Santa Claus and reindeer and family and good times and all that stuff, that's the way it is. Okay. So, but they didn't start there. They started the program with a significant story that has a little legend to it, and that is that there's a woman named Mary Magdalena, who is possessed. Yeah, they believed in those things. In fact, they knew those things. It was a fact of life. Everywhere in the ancient world, people knew that there were dark spirits who could come in and possess people and responsible for things. That was not some primitive superstition to them. That was reality. And she was possessed. And there is a remarkable scene where actually the very presence of Jesus, as she is by him, she is healed or delivered from this deep possession. And the people all around who are afraid of her, she is scary stuff, all of a sudden realize that whatever darkness, that dark spirit, that evil spirit that was in her is gone. And her appearance now is totally calm and peaceful and beautiful. She's been totally transformed. And as the narrative continues, she becomes one of the primary followers of Jesus, and she's such a talented woman, and she's got a history, both good and bad. She knows the world. She knows how it works. She knows how men and women think, act, and do. She is truly, now in her sane mind and right mind, a woman of wisdom. A wow. A wow. And the story begins to circulate that actually it could be that the one who keeps the boat steady as all of this is happening, Jesus choosing these various men and other things, it's Mary. who's making a lot of it happen. Yeah. Could she have been a prostitute? We don't know. It doesn't say that, but it seems that that is part of maybe her past. But now she's the wow, and she's the follower of Jesus. And could it be that, and remember, she was the first one at the tomb when Jesus said, I'm not here anymore. I'm someplace else. I'm alive. So she is fundamental. She is there at the crucifixion. She's there at the resurrection. She is there at all of the healings and miracles that take place. She's making deals to get things done. And I said, I'm starting this new Jesus entrepreneur experience. And you know what? I think I need to get a Mary. It's a man's job, and so I'm going to find a woman who can do it. Well, that's my story. And so I'm looking forward to that. And I want you to listen to whatever is inside of you and think about that. And perhaps you might even know somebody who would like to audition for that position in what we call choosing the Jesus Entrepreneur Experience, one of the primary productions of this program and of this What It Takes radio company. So, all the best and blessings to you. I'd love to hear from you. StanHouston@gmail.com. StanHouston@gmail.com. By the way, go to witradio.net, witradio.net, because you need to get on the radio. You need to learn how to use the modern media today. I just told a significant company, if you don't have at least a semi-professional or enhanced amateur video, audio studio in your office, in your situation, you are behind the times and you will not be able to be agile enough to respond with quality audio, visual, and marketing materials. You won't. You will be left behind. That's the way it's going. It's going fast, and you have to get on that train, and you have to get on soon. And that's how we help you. That's what we do, and we do it well. Once again, witradio.net. Reach out to me. I can help you. StanHouston@gmail.com. StanHouston@gmail.com. Bye for now.